All right.
Finally.
Now you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, I need your actual schedule. You're going to have to send me when you're going to do these plays because I need to know when you're not going to be available.
All right.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me once again via satellite, Mike, King Hamster Pellet himself, Chiavo, because, well, frankly, he's got more important things to do than entertain each and every one of you.
I do entertain each and every one of you. And if you come down January. Fuck me. Try this again. If you come down June 2nd through the 11th, I can entertain you in person. Come down to the Little Victory Theater. We'll be performing Charles Bush's The Divine Sister. It's very funny. I'm in it. I play a 10-year-old. Not much of a stretch for me, but come down and see what we're doing.
Uh,
LittleVictoryTheater.com. You can get tickets to the link to our tickets there.
okay. I'm glad you've let everyone know about that. We'll remind them again later on during the episode where they
Yep.
can get tickets and everything. So, you know, I want to keep things a little tight today because we're recording this separate and we're also going to have a guest that will appear because I did swing an interview, which that's going to come up a little later. So we're going to have to log some space in on that one. So,
Okay.
very talented actress, Danielle Hernandez. She's going to be in a play herself that they're doing. So, giving her some opportunity to promote. And yeah, this is where we shine because we're going to actually have a guest. Oh, geez. So unfucking professional. You know, I haven't done interviews really since my old podcast, The Dragon's Den, which was part of the Psychedelic Toaster Show. So yeah, um, it'll be nice to actually start doing some. Can you please stop tearing paper, you little hamster bitch?
Yes, I can. Question is, will I?
Uh, you will.
Anyway,
So let's start off where we're gonna do a deeper dive later on. But did you watch the series finale of The Flash?
I watched the highlights of the series finale of The Flash. I didn't get a chance to watch everything yet because I was at rehearsals, and I have another one tonight. That's why we're doing this remote. Um, I got the highlights. I am a little. I liked it. I liked from what I saw. Little disappointed, or should I say, not disappointed? Maybe let down in the fact that they brought in a brand new villain just for the series finale.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
I'm a little disappointed is a better word.
yeah, but you got to remember too, it was still a character who was there from season one.
Yeah, but now when you see this character like fleshed out and have an actual person to it, you're kind of like, oh, I want more with this character.
Yeah.
You know that's if I have to say, I would have to give it a thumbs down. It would be on that point.
But you also still haven't seen the full episode yourself, though.
That is correct.
So,
But
one,
like again, from what I've seen, I already know I'm going to enjoy it.
oh, yeah. Well, I don't think and this one's a disappointment in any shape, way, or form, especially because you figure for 9 seasons, while the ninth season is a shorter run, it's truly showing the end of the CW Arrowverse as a whole.
Yes. And as unfortunate as that is, the CW Arrowverse had a lot of good points, a lot of memorable moments, a lot of characters you got invested in. Um, but at the same time, you know, I think this wraps it up, puts a nice little bow on it. Um, but yeah, hey, in the world of TV land, anything is possible. So maybe we'll see down the road. Maybe like a direct. to DVD or a streaming movie where everybody comes back to fight something. Why? Because they have nothing better to do.
Yeah,
You
because
know?
Superman and Lois is in a different universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that one's in a different universe, they have reported that that one's going to end on a cliffhanger, even though they still do not know the fate of the show, if it's being picked up or not.
Right.
Now, I feel like Gotham Knights should just be canceled and
Yeah,
continue.
that's just an abomination.
Yeah, just continue on with Superman and Lois and make us all happy in that respect.
Or
But
you know what they could do?
what?
Renew Titans.
Um, I actually just want them to bring back Legends of Tomorrow.
I like Legends the way they had it in the beginning, but as it went on, it got a little too crazy even for me, and I kind of checked out on it.
See, I loved it. I love the rotating cast. It was Titans did the same thing where there were characters that stuck around, but there were characters that did switch out, and it
Right.
fit for changing seasons. And you bring on my favorite character played by an amazing actor. So you bring on Booster Gold being played
Oh
by
yeah.
Donald Faison. It's like, come on, you just cut everyone off at the knees for what could have been something epic.
Shoulda, woulda, couldas. You know
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to. Shoulda, woulda, couldas.
yeah.
Everybody has their own opinion, and everybody has their own idea watching these shows. Um, if you're just a casual watcher, you're like, oh, okay, that was fine. If you know the characters from the comic books, if you invest time in these characters and watch it every week, you're like, why would they do that to us? You know? And it boils down to, did the writers, did the producers know the show was going to get canceled? And they were just like, okay, whatever we have done, we have done. That's the end of it.
Well, Legends, they did say that they knew they didn't know if they were getting renewed or not, so they knew they were throwing a Hail Mary by putting Booster Gold in at the last minute. And I really wish it would have gotten picked up, but the shakeup of the Warner Brothers DC merger, that's thrown everything into chaos. We're getting great reviews for the Flash movie that's going to be coming out, but I still don't know if I want to support Ezra Miller, even though I'm extremely excited to see Michael Keaton in the Batman suit again.
I think that's what all this hype is about. It's Michael Keaton back in his suit.
Well, if you've seen some of the footage, you'll see that there's actually, like, when there's the second Barry, the costume he's wearing
Yeah, it's
looks
an
like
altered Batman.
yeah,
It looked
they
like
modified the bat suit.
yeah, because if you look at the back of the second Barry's head, he kind of has like ears.
Well, you can
But
also see kind of like where the bat logo was, where they put the lightning bolt.
yeah. Also, I heard this today. Do you know who is rumored? And supposedly the director kind of dropped the ball on this one. Who is rumored to have a cameo
Well, let's see.
in
Well, this is spoiler territory, so let's just put it out there right
this?
now.
This is pure rumor territory.
Rumor, but also spoiler at the same time.
Potential spoiler.
Because we know this is the last time that we're going to get Gal Gadot. We're going to get. This is one of the last times we're seeing Aquaman before his own movie. So they're changing those two. Affleck, it's his last time.
Which I think sucks because those actors were fine in those roles.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? You could replace Momoa to switch him with some. You know what? I saw Fast X,
I
and
want to see it.
I will tell you the fact they turned it into a trilogy is now I'm like, okay. But the thing that I have to say, when you see it, you're going to say Momoa was hamming it up like it was nobody's business. He was having so much fun.
Yeah, and that's fine. That makes the movie, in my opinion, movie that got more enjoyable when you see the actors having fun.
Yeah, and he's really having fun during this one. Now, I think he would have more fun if the rumor is true that he's going to be playing Lobo when
I
they
think he would
reboot.
be a perfect Lobo. But getting back to my rumor,
Clooney as
no,
the third Batman.
nope, that's not what I heard.
Okay, because I know
You
Clooney's
want to take
supposed to be
another
there.
guess? Want to take
Um,
another guess?
no. Go for it. What's the rumor?
Rumor has it, and this was dropped maybe accidentally on purpose by the director, that a certain actor who was casted as the Man of Steel will have a cameo in the suit.
Okay, could be
Do you know
interesting.
who? Do you know who I'm
Cavill,
talking about?
Henry
No,
Cavill.
no.
What the?
Think of. Come on, you got it. Come on, go for it.
Oh,
Movie that did
well,
not get
I know
made.
Nicolas Cage is supposed to. You were
Nicolas
supposed to
Cage.
see a little bit of that. They said, I think, what was it? I know Grant Gustin addressed the thing, not knowing that he had a small cameo with from used footage for Titans. So he didn't
He
even
did.
know. He didn't know they did that
I didn't even see him in that.
when the Beast Boy episode with the red.
Yeah.
He is like, you see the Flash running, the red energy from the lightning around him. It was one of the reasons why I started marking out, was you see Barry. You get all like all the other characters from the different properties, and that was one. Like, that was the first one until you got up to Breck Baker, I believe,
Hmm.
that Stargirl, which
Yeah.
that one was, I was so happy to see her come back. It was just one of those situations where we're like, he went and it was like he didn't even know that they used the footage of him running from like previous seasons of the Flash. But Titans, I believe, was still under Berlanti's production head, so it makes sense that they would do that.
Yeah.
So now I did get to see Fast X, which fun ride. I'm not going to spoil anything other than it is the series in a whole. It's amped up, and Momoa really is, as the villain. He amps it up, and some of the other actors that are in it, it is amazing to see that cast again.
Well, see, a lot of people give Fast and the Furious shit, and sometimes the shit is well deserved. But when you boil it down, it is just a stupid, funny movie. You're not. I mean, some of the stuff you like in the last one, like I said before, they put a freaking Fiero in space.
Listen,
Okay.
they've done it. They've had a tank. They've had a submarine.
Yes,
Why?
a tank, a submarine. I mean, exactly. It's just they just keep upping the ridiculousness, and at like, and you. This is why I keep going back to watch it. I want to see. Okay, you had a tank. Fine, I can understand it. It's in the realm of motor vehicles. Then I'm like, okay, let's up it. Let's go submarine. And you're like, okay, let me see how they work with this one. And then you heard, we're gonna put a car in space, and you're like, what? And now I want to see Fast X because I want to see, okay, you put a fucking Pontiac Fiero in outer space. What are you gonna do next?
Yeah.
I
So
mean, somebody put a meme up where it was like, Fast and the Furious, the first one. You saw like the picture of Paul Walker's car and Vin Diesel's car coming off the line
yeah,
over
the
the train tracks.
skyline and the Charger.
Yeah, coming off the train tracks. And like, fine, that was Fast One. And then they jump forward to Fast and Furious 9, and you saw the Fiero in outer space, and they're like, okay, now Fast and Furious 30, and it's the X-wing and the Millennium Falcon, which isn't far off if they keep going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely a fun ride. Something I definitely recommend everybody sees. It's worth it. Now, I'm trying to play catch up with a lot of the stuff, and I am thankful right now that Amazon Prime is allowing you to rent the movies after they've been in the theaters for like 2 months.
Okay.
Because I'm getting a chance to watch stuff that I normally would have to go to the theater to see, especially when I don't have the time to see everything. Because I I just got to see John Wick 4.
I heard something very cool about the director of John Wick.
Yeah.
Um, Somebody put up a little video of Brandon Lee as the Crow, and when he got killed on set, they were going to shut down production and not finish the film.
Yeah.
but Brandon's mother and then fiance said, "No, you got to finish it." And the person who they had stand in for Brandon in all the scenes that needed to be done
Yep.
was his best friend, who turns out to be later on down the road directs the John Wick films,
Yeah.
which I think is very cool. Which leads me to this question: if Brandon Lee didn't die, is he John Wick instead of Keanu?
Very well could be, but this was like this really showed Keanu Reeves like not only does everyone know him as one of the nicest guys in Hollywood and one of the most respectful guys, but this really upped his ante on this one. And I got to say, number 4 though, almost 3 hours. It is literally almost 3 hours. I believe it's like 2 hours 49 minutes and change.
Well, when you're paying these stupid prices, I want a 3-hour movie. You know?
I want a 3-hour movie, but I need a bathroom break in the middle of it at this point.
We need an intermission.
Yeah, and that's the thing. For 3 hours, for something that's going to be that much action, and now, granted, I love the movie. I thought it was great, but almost 3 hours, and there's not a ton of dialogue.
Yeah.
There is one moment in there where I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is a blatant, like, showing of love for the Warriors. Because they even say boppers, they have the radio host putting out the call for John Wick with like how much his reward is. And I was like, oh yeah, they're doing the radio station. It really was like it was that moment of like, oh, you can tell somebody loved the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I think that was great. It was a great homage. So now I wanted to like switch gears a little bit. Did you hear about the now issues with our streaming platforms?
No.
Okay, so we've got changes in the streaming platforms because now while we support the writer's strike here, because the writers should be getting paid, and now HBO just became straight Max. And in that changeover, they're calling all the actors, the directors, the writers, they're all just creators. Almost like if they're content creators. Now, they're claiming that was an oversight, but it almost seems like you're trying to turn the writers into, and like the actual like directors, everyone that's involved. If you weren't the person who actually created it, you're now trying to basically say, oh, they're all content creators. Like what we are right now is this podcast is content creators. We're not actors. You're an actor, but it's right now you're doing content creation because we're filling a void. But we don't have the same production level as a studio. We're not
even close.
We're not making Raging Bull here.
Although we're making Raging Bullshit.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're here to entertain everybody, but so now there's that issue that they're claiming was, it needs to get fixed. It was just a little minor tweak that needs to be done on the website. So they're going to correct that. But they also, it's just going to be an update. You're not going to have to switch over anything. No, you can possibly get logged out of your account because it was down for like the first day on launch.
Yeah, I heard that. Like it launched and it crashed.
Yeah. It launched, it crashed. I've had to update or re-download or download a new app version of it. And for multiple TVs, for any of my streaming, any devices I have that I can stream on. And then we have Netflix with their...
Yeah, I heard about Netflix.
Yeah, their infinite wisdom of cracking down on password sharing. They could do that maybe back in the day when there wasn't competition.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
They're going to put themselves out of business.
Oh, yeah. They drove Blockbuster out of business. Well, congratulations. You're going to drive yourself
next on the block.
Business. Yeah, you're doing it to yourself. And now Disney is going to be upping their game. You're still going to have to pay for the bundle of Disney, Hulu, and everything, but you'll be able to access everything through one app. You won't have to open another app to get... You'll see the stuff, everything on Hulu. you got Disney Plus open, you won't have to switch apps. You'll just go straight through like Disney Plus.
That's
Or
good.
if you're on Hulu, you can just access the Disney Plus stuff. Which
I tell you, I mean,
I feel
I
like
don't have.
it's going to
Go ahead.
cause probably a technical issue though
Oh,
when it starts.
without a doubt. I mean, I don't have Netflix. I use my friend's account. And
Let's see how long that works.
If I get locked out, you know what? I don't. The only thing I watch on Netflix, Stranger Things. So, it's. I'll go to somebody's house or something, and I'll binge Stranger Things there. But again, with that, I think they're waiting too long. You know, you had what, first 2 seasons almost back to back, and then they make you wait a year and a half, 2 years for season 3. Then they break that up, leave you on a cliffhanger. They make you wait another 2 years, and now this. I think they're making you wait too long, and by the time it comes back, people are going to be like, meh.
I don't think so. Not for Stranger Things, but I will say that I believe like the writer strike may be impacting the production. Even though I know Netflix is supposed to like they've been stockpiling scripts so they can put stuff into production. The problem is you have writers who are all people, screenwriters who are also directors or actors. So are they willing? Are they going to be working cross-platform to be able to do? Hey, listen, one union and another. You can be a member of multiple unions.
Right.
So is this going to affect because of the picketing?
Right. Hang on one second.
Yep. Now is the point where we will be doing our interview. Well, thank you, everyone. I've got a special treat because we're taking a break for a moment for the regular show. Now, I've got the wonderful and talented Danielle Hernandez here, who has a plethora of acting experience, one-woman shows, being in a ton of different plays, and is all over the place when it comes to entertainment, and is a pleasure to talk to. I've known her for years, so I wanted to bring her on because you have a show that you're doing. So,
Yes.
why don't you introduce everyone, let everybody know a little bit about yourself, because welcome to the Dragoons' Lair.
Haha! Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am Danielle Hernandez. I tell everyone that I'm half Disney princess, half saucy wench. And yes, I have an illustrious history of theater in particular. I come from a strong theater background. I've done over 7 years with a short form improv group called Say What NYC. You remember us by going, Say What NYC. As well as I've written my own one-woman show, Danielle XX, which is an amalgamation of you're a child and then you're an adult, and you've got to reconcile a lot of what we've absorbed as children, particularly from films, television, and if you went to Catholic school like this one right here, the Bible. So most of my work comes through comedy, and making people laugh is a joy. Laughter is truly the best medicine when you don't have medicine, but please seek medicine if you can. Yes, so that's a catch up about me. And the most recent show that I'm involved in now is called The Dream Room. And this is karaoke whodunnit. Think Knives Out meets Burlesque. Sans Cher, which is criminal, really, but I'll do what I can to make up for it.
Oh.
So
That definitely sounds interesting as a description for the production. Now, when is this production taking place?
So that is coming June 7th, 2023. Mark your calendars. We're less than 2 weeks away. And it's here in New York City for people in the tri-state area. Come on by.
That's right. So I definitely recommend, from just the description alone, it sounds like it's going to be an interesting production. I'm going to say I'd rather go see your production than to see Mike's production, since he's not going to be on the show for a few weeks. So we already recorded. So this is post-recording of the episode.
Oh, right. I snuck in the back door. Hello, back door.
You came in backstage.
Yes, as I do.
Yes. So now you have done a bunch of different things, and your internet presence is very entertaining
Thank you.
because you have your Bridgerton obsession.
Oh, obsession. I want to interject, and let everyone know I got my jewelry to Shonda Rhimes. It was a magical moment. It happened very recently. So yes, I have a strong passion for romance novels coming to television, and Shondaland has propped up that opportunity. So I'm constantly like, hey, Shonda Rhimes, no, please know my name.
Yeah, so, and not only that, but you also make your own jewelry.
I do make my own jewelry. Exhibit A again.
Yes, now, if somebody wanted to get some of your jewelry, how would they go about doing that?
So to contact me directly is your best bet. My email, everyone grab a pen. Here we go. My email is dmaravet. That's right. I'm just giving it out across the internet. dmaravet@gmail.com. Of course, I'll spell that for you guys. That's the Maravet in Danielle Maravet Hernandez. My name is so long. It's fine. There's just all these other Danielle Hernandez who like got on the internet and a website first. So incorporating my middle name as my business name has become a must. All right. Are you ready, people with pens? I know you are. That's D as in Danielle, M as in Mary, A, R, like you're a pirate, I, V as in Victor, E, TTE at gmail.com. And I would put in the subject line jewelry making talisman because that's how I describe my jewelry making. I'm not just putting together a necklace or a bracelet. I'm putting together something unique for the person that I've spoken with, especially as I am a fond proponent of stones and crystals, just natural materials and the symbolism that they hold. So please reach out. We'll discuss. Honestly, what you'll mostly be paying for is those materials. My labor fees are pretty reasonable.
Well, that's good to know. Now, you just showed us a pretty cool sticker. Now, is that something that people should know about?
This is me. Yeah. Well, remember, I'm half cartoon, half human. So
Who
this is
isn't?
literally that's my face, right? I have an incredible artist in my family. They go by Mar, and I contacted them to please draw me up. I want to be a sticker, and Mar made it happen. So yes, I'm a sticker. I actually have a bunch of these up all over Manhattan, Brooklyn, some across Staten Island. So if anyone wants to go on a little scavenger hunt, if you find one of these across the city, like just take a picture with it, find me on the internet at Des Marivet, DEZMARIVETTE, and you will have contacted me directly. Find me. It'll be fun. Now, if you want a sticker yourself, we can make that happen. Stay tuned.
Okay, so now that would be a fun little scavenger hunt. So I highly recommend if you are in the New York area and you see one of these stickers, definitely take a picture because that sounds very cool and very interactive. Now, you have a wonderful personality and it really does show when people talk to you because you are probably one of the nicest human beings I have ever come across. And in that process of getting to know you and knowing how nice of a person you also are truly hilarious because you have a wicked sense of humor. Now, because you have your obsession with the romance arts, did you know that there are now the youngest generation among us, Gen Z's, kind of like walking around, and when they're getting stressed lately, they're saying that they start talking in a British accent?
I just recently saw this, and honestly, who can blame them? I find myself sliding in and out of accents daily, so
Yes,
it helps.
but it's now, which accent in the British fashion? Because as they get more stressed, they're saying they become more Cockney.
Right. That's the joyous part. I find the accent is the mood. So if Cockney's got to come out, Cockney's got to come out. I myself don't typically go around going, "Oi, governor," but if it helps someone with their stress, I think that is a brilliant coping mechanism. Way better than the other ones out there.
Yeah, there was actually a point because we went to college together for a little while, and at one point I was in an acting class, and I actually had a scene where I had to have the English accent. I couldn't figure out how to do the upper class British accent. I
Our
was I spent 2 days walking around on purpose. Everyone literally thought I was British, but it was the Cockney accent.
that came most naturally.
It just seemed easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's what works best for you. I think like my British accent came from play. So like for real Bridgerton, that's the
Mm.
RP sound, the received pronunciation, and it is an enhanced version of the natural sounding British accent. But for me, before I put practice into that, my British accent was leaning more towards mid-Atlantic Catherine Hepburn, and I'd be like, "Darling, please, I need you to reach for that cup of tea," which isn't exactly proper British, but it is fun.
Oh, it definitely is fun. It always is fun to have the accents in your bag of tricks just to
Yeah,
like kind of liven up a party or whatever. So
exactly.
yeah, now it's you. Like I said, you have a great personality with all of this. And what is some of your inspirations? Things that like really get you interested in being up on stage in front of everybody.
Well, laughter. People who make me laugh remind me why I want to do this so much. So, I most recently watched Wanda Sykes' special on, is it on Amazon Prime or on Netflix? One of those. And I
I
mean,
think it's Netflix.
I
I
think it is
think.
Netflix. Yeah, the whole special, the camera follows Wanda on stage. You get to see the energy of the crowd, the lights, but also this opportunity when you're on stage to be heard. People are listening to what you have to say. And I think just that feeling, you don't have to be up on a stage, you don't have to be surrounded by an audience, but that feeling of, wow, I am being heard. This person is connecting with what I have to say. It holds value. These things, those are the reminders that are like, oh, that's why I'm in this entertainment business, because that spectrum provides a huge amount of growth where you don't talk to just one person or two people, you multiply that. And knowing how I have felt on the receiving end as an audience member, which I love to be, it's very encouraging to keep going forward as an artist, because I don't know what I will say that will inspire a person until a person comes back to me and remembers something that I said, something I don't remember saying, but something that was definitely out, that was me, and it meant something to them. So remember, your words have power, and it's up to us to use that power as we wish.
Now, in that vein, I know you've posted you've been at the Writers Guild strikes on the East Coast here, and we at the show completely support the writers' strike because there's fair treatment that needs to be had for all of them. And what's something that it's kind of connects the entire inspiration, the writing thing for because you're also writing your own productions for a one woman show, but also with the production you're doing now. So, what is it that it's like that connecting feeling for the writing aspect and siding with like the writers and understanding that aspect so people can understand why the writers are striking?
You know, there's so many facets, but it ultimately comes down to this. Our writers are providing a service, and business is service. You service someone so that you get your credentials, but not just credentials. You get paid so that you can be alive and live your life to the fullest. That's what capitalism in America tells us, anyway. But what's happening with the writers in the writer's strike is that these new companies, with their new mergers, have found creative ways to write into the contracts terminology that is a disservice to any human who needs a job. This is rapidly not a livable like it's not a career anymore. It's becoming gig work, and that's the problem because America can't be exclusively gigs, man. Like, this was a prestigious role. I'm sorry, this is prestigious to have a writer, to have their skill, their knowledge, their words, which we've already talked about, and what that is, that's their power. And to cherry pick how you'll use that and then give them crumbs, that's abuse. What we're facing is another system looking to abuse workers, which is rampant throughout all of history and time. Humans have a real abuse problem where we want to take as much as we can from another person and not even give the bare minimum. That's how slavery has existed for all these years because humans continue to do this. And so the writers' strike, before I go really high up on my soapbox, I'm not even in the Writers Guild, but I'm an actor. We need the writers to create stories because stories are how people thrive. Everything is a story. How did you get to work today? That's a story. How did your parents meet? That's a story. What religion did you grow up in? That's a story. Stories are our lifeblood outside of our actual blood. So please support our writers. And if you didn't know there was a writer's strike, do know that it's been going on since May 2nd. It continues. And what we need are contracts that protect the people who are putting the stories together on every level. It's more than just the writers, it's the production assistants, it's the producers, it is the people running around to get your coffee so you can keep going throughout the day because you had a 5 a.m. call time and you weren't even the first person on set. So it's a very complicated system that wants the solution to be as simple as you can afford to live if you have this job.
I agree completely. And I mean, that's also one of the reasons why I know a lot of actors have also gotten involved because the demands that the writers are asking for are things that are also affecting the actors' contracts because we've had issues where all of a sudden actors aren't getting paid the same amount because they found ways of shortcutting the contracts because of the dark times, the evilness that we do not speak of, the 2020s. Um, I try to find a
Oh,
fun way of
dude.
saying it without saying
Without
the
saying the words.
the plague year.
The plague years. I worked on set during the plague years as a, let's see, if we're not calling it what we're calling it, then I was an officer of plague control. How's that? And I
Yep.
said to the store, like, stay masked up, kid. Did we take your temperature today? Everyone hated me. It was tough.
Oh yeah, I could only imagine. But now since there is the writer strike and what entertainment, like let's say a show or something that has been out, would you recommend that would fill the entertainment void as some shows kind of dip out for a while?
Okay, that's a great question. Uh, Look, I'm from a generation where we bought VHSs and DVDs. I say go find your friends who paid for a hard copy. Have an old fashioned movie night. Everyone make a list of your suggestions. For example, my friend and I are about to have an Arnold night because I think she mentioned Total Recall and then I mentioned kindergarten teacher.
Kindergarten Cop.
Thank you, kindergarten cop.
Yep.
And those are just great odds to have. And it's beautiful films that exist already. It's television that exists already. And actually, I want to bring that back to the writers' strike because it's important we keep calling films, movies, and television what they are as opposed to what they're trying to do, which is just calling it content. Everything, like life is content. Be more specific. Challenge people to be more specific and then make a list of what you want to go see. For me, a classic is always The Princess Bride. That's a fail-safe.
Oh,
Like,
that is
we're gonna have
true
joy.
classic.
A true classic. Go watch The Princess Bride, folks. You will not regret it.
Yep. Now, that's one of the things. It's like I'm a big proponent of older media and being able to watch older stuff, but also seeing newer things. And it's just a matter of I love entertainment as a whole. So I support every aspect of the industry when it comes to like really watching something that's going to get you going. And when you say The Princess Bride, it really is one of those things where it's like it brings me back to a place in my childhood. And like you're right, if people get together and decide, hey, I've got physical copies of DVDs and stuff. Why not make it, and I'll call it, make it a blockbuster night.
Nice. We're dating ourselves here.
Oh no, you know what? I look back at the nostalgia fondly because those were the days where it was like you Friday night, you look forward to, you finished school and you got home, you would go off to Blockbuster, but not only did you go to Blockbuster, you went, you picked up food, so it became a family event. You bumped into friends, seeing what they were renting. It was a communal experience.
Yes, exactly. And a good social experiment for 2023 where we are all relearning how to spend time with each other. So,
Well, I'm trying to spend less time with people, but that's my own personal preference.
you're
But
compromising your movie nights.
I know it's tragic. That is the one downside. But because of something like that, I have to ask now. It's where it's like you look at the nostalgia aspect of it, and I have to ask because it is a bringing up community and coming together. We'll go back to your production of what's the cast like? Like, what can you tell us about the cast for this production? Because I would like for
Right.
people to go and that are in the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area to come out and see this. So, what's an element that brings this cast and makes you want to come out to the theater to experience this?
I am so glad you asked me that because this cast is brilliant. And I feel like many people say that, but it feels like a gift to be working with this cast. So let me say again, the name of the show is The Dream Room, and that is going to be at the Green Room 42 here in New York City. That address is 570 10th Avenue. It's on 42nd and 10th. And the cast involved are this colorful array because it takes place in a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl, the dream room. So you're going to get your typical your bartender characters who see everything, hear everything, therefore become the secret keepers even, or the instigators for trouble. So we've got the characters of Joe and Aslan, who are our barkeeps and have tabs on what's going on. Then you have illustrious characters like the club owner herself. The club owner's character's name is Estelle. She's played by the illustrious Ellen B. Williams, who you can see on Netflix's We Have a Ghost. And her character, she runs a tight ship, but she knows exactly the establishment that she kind of runs. She's halfway between Steven Spielberg and a madam. So, and she owns it. Oh my gosh. Then you have the character who brings my character, Cassandra. She's new to the city with stars in her eyes. And she meets the character of Siggy, who works at the Dream Room and loves it because what Siggy has found at the Dream Room is the joy of performing in New York City at a premium address, like this is the dream. Like, prove that you want to live the dream before you go chasing empty rainbows, basically. And so Siggy is both like a guide and a source of conflict for my character, Cassie, because on the one hand, we're living the dream, and on the other hand, my character's like, but I've got real big dreams, see? So it's fun to watch the musical numbers between those two characters go down. I actually have here, I mean, you can see me. I don't know who will also be able to see me, but I
The,
have some posters that our director has created, and they are such fun.
yeah,
So I can show
everyone's
you
going to be able
also.
to see this on my YouTube channel a little further down, so the audio will be up on
Oh, that's
Sunday. So
fantastic.
we'll have enough of a week for people to be able to get the information to go see the show, but also you can look back at this and also it'll be there for posterity.
That's marvelous. Can I take you through them?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so here we go. Matthew William is Brizzo, and he's slinging drinks for others and himself. Then we have here the illustrious Keandra Honeysucker as Maya, and Maya gets in trouble a lot. Then we have here Andy J. Carlson as Siggy. He's got the eye for new talent. You're like, Now we have Danielle Hernandez is Cassie. She's the new girl in town with stars in her eyes. Then we have Jessica Johnson as Poppy. She's getting married and says so a lot. Followed up by Brian Parks as Joe. He packs a punch and he hits a lot of people. We have Ashley Lane as Aslan. She might be hiding something. Would you trust her? And then closing it out, here's Ellen B. Williams as Estelle, our illustrious club owner. Oh, we should play a drinking game. How many times does she say illustrious in this podcast? And most importantly, here we go. Jonathan Bell is Detective Jones, because if it's a murder mystery, we have to have a detective trying to solve it.
Absolutely, there must be a detective.
See, he's looking for the guilty and for love. So you get a tango of a whodunit with a little rom-com mixed in with the suspense and thriller of, oh yeah, someone did get murdered, didn't they? Stay tuned and please do come. You can get your tickets at www.thegreenroom42.venutix.com. I will drop a link if you can share that for me.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you there. And it's practically dinner theater, so you can get food and drinks, but you don't have to. There is no minimum, and I would love to stress that because that's a concern for some people.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, send me the information. It will be in the show notes at the bottom of the episode, so when everyone can see it, because I've got to do that on top of Mike's production. So yes.
Yes.
So hopefully next time I have you on, you'll have another production that you'll be doing, and I can have Mike on as well. So this way you can get to experience what the Dragoons' lair is like with two knuckleheads instead of just one.
I enjoy bouncing off of knuckleheads.
Oh,
we can throw out our favorite things and contemplate them together.
Yeah, and I have to say, since you brought up The Princess Bride, I was watching clips from Deadpool 2, which has the elements of The Princess Bride. Because
in what way? Describe.
Because they actually went and they made a PG-13 version, Once Upon a Deadpool, where he actually kidnaps Fred Savage and puts him in the childhood bedroom, has him dressed just like the Princess Bride.
Oh my goodness.
And he's reading the story of Deadpool 2 to him as if he was the grandfather.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a scene worth watching. I have not seen Deadpool. I have to tell your viewers right now, I'm so behind on all of the superhero movies. I saw the original Thor. Oh, I think I saw Thor 2 in theaters, and that was the last superhero film in theaters that I watched.
Well, you know what? If I just say Deadpool's just worth it, but that's also just because Ryan Reynolds is, I would have to say he's up there in the nicest actors out there.
I support that. I had the privilege of working for Ryan Reynolds during my plague masked doctor person thing. I was not a doctor. I'm not a doctor.
You just play one on TV.
Yeah, no. So I've worked on his sets and I got to meet him and take his temperature. I don't want to brag, but I've taken the temperature of Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, so
and he was lovely. He
yes.
is just a jolly spirit.
You've been in the presence with one of the sexiest men in the world. So
two.
Yes.
Two of the sexiest, because on the same day that I took the temperature of Ryan Reynolds, I took the temperature of Hugh Jackman right beside him, and I was like, this is the best day ever.
See, and that's
as far as 2020 goes.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that I say, like, if you have a connection with both of them, which is why it would be fun for you to watch Deadpool, because he makes a lot of Hugh Jackman jokes.
Yeah, they have their whole feud thing.
I don't know how much of a feud
Wink.
it is. Yeah, but
I've seen them in person. The feud is for fun.
Oh yeah, and they're going to be in Deadpool 3 when it comes out. And it's funny because they actually said that right now Ryan Reynolds he's not in the Writers Guild, but he writes for Deadpool because he improvs a lot of the jokes and they put it into the script. So he can't improv right now, so we need to get the writer strike resolved so that this way the movie can be as funny as it should be. So the
Mm.
studios need to wake up and
That's
understand.
right. We need to yell at HBO and NBC. And I'm sorry I just targeted them. They were just the easiest initials on my brain. But target all of them because this money exists. We know it exists. Y'all are just electing not to use it wisely on the people who propped you up there. You know what happens? You fall. So feed the people who support you and give good contracts to the brilliant people who make stories happen. All of them, every single one. And thank you, writers, for being the ones to go on strike to call attention to this now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I support the writers, but don't worry about like calling out a couple of the studios because I the Warner Brothers Discovery merger has basically made a giant punching bag out of them, especially on this show because they've made so many dumb decisions that I have made a lot of rage fueled content thanks to them.
Here's to that.
So I can
It's just overly complicated now.
Oh yeah, but I can blame them and complain about them, and they've given me such a source of content to
Content.
create. But I'm more of a content creator because this is all off the cuff. There's no script for this. If I had a script, I would be thanking my writers.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
You are your writer. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Oh no, I'll dislocate my shoulder.
Oh no! All right, from a distance.
No, you know me. I'm pretty much if I was a horse, I'd be sent to the glue factory at this point. So
Well, let's be grateful that that hasn't happened.
Oh yeah, but it's one of those situations where it's all about getting better, and this has been a nice release for me for the show, and I want to thank you for coming on to the show because this has been interesting. So make sure you send me all the information so I can put that in the
Yes,
show
I'm going to
notes.
say it one more time. Wednesday, June 7th at 7 p.m., the Green Room 42. To see, it's a tongue twister, the Dream Room. I will give you a link down below. Remember, the Green Room 42 can be Googled. Green, like the color behind me, verde. 42, like 42nd Street. Okay, I've done my job here. Thank you for having me on. And actually, I want to say one more thing because, as you said, for yourself, this has been a source of like relaxing and getting out of the constant need of self-maintenance. But my words, not yours. But I want to bring attention to the fact that we always are in a state of needing to maintain ourselves. If we haven't rested enough or fed enough, the stress, the wear and tear, it takes a toll on our body. And that brings me right back to the writer's strike and people needing to take care of people. Just like we always have to take care of ourselves. It's something that I think we need to drill into the heads of everyone because even though it's overtly obvious, humanity as a whole keeps avoiding that. We keep avoiding taking care of each other. So I'm glad you take care of you. Thank you for having me on and taking care of me and letting me share about myself and my shows.
It is a pleasure to have you, and I hope to have you back again for another production, and maybe even just a chat about the theater, or possibly even when I finally finish the second season of Bridgerton, and then what is it, the
Queen Charlotte. You have to jump up. The Queen Charlotte has more gravitas. It is like Bridgerton is fluffy and fun, and it has its own angst and drama, but Queen Charlotte really grounds the beautiful world they've created in a real situation. So prepare yourself for that.
Yeah, so once I finish those, I'd love to have you back so we can have a discussion on that. And
I look forward to coming back then. So
knowing your flair for the dramatic, I'm
Indeed.
sure
We could talk in British accents the whole time. You with your governor and me being Katharine Hepburn, but also RP.
Oh, I believe the listeners would love that. So
every time we fall out of it, we'll have to have a consequence.
And I think we can make that a drinking game for the audience. So
there we go. We'll film in the evening to make it time appropriate.
Exactly.
Oh, for any listeners available, please follow me on Instagram at DesMarivet, which will also be provided in the link below. I also have a TikTok, but let's be honest, I'm on Instagram more. It's the same name, DesMarivet, DezMarivette. And that concludes the self-promotion.
And thank you, because I'm all about self promotion. So thank you for coming to the lair. And as my tagline is, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.
Thank you again for being here.
It's been a joy. Thank you for having me. And stay tuned, everyone.
We almost had a special guest.
Well, actually, that just
Maggie.
yeah, well, that was a perfect segue point for us editing in a interview. So, perfect timing. Thank you.
Anytime.
Whether you realized it or not. Should I thank Maggie, or was that Abby?
No, Abby's gone. That was Maggie.
Okay.
Bonnie's the other one. Bonnie couldn't give two shits.
You've had too many dogs over the years. I'm losing track.
Started with Knickerbocker, went to Bailey. Now my sister has Spencer. I had Abby. I had Abby. I have Maggie, and I have Bonnie.
Okay. Yeah, Bonnie's the one that don't like me very much, but then again,
Bonnie doesn't like anybody.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Dog is afraid of her own freaking shadow.
Maggie, though, is an amazing dog.
Maggie's a love bug.
Oh yeah, vicious little killer.
She'll drown you.
Yep, drown you in licks and kisses and all. Like,
Drown you with love.
Oh yeah, she won't let you leave. She'll sit on your foot.
Oh, you should sit on your lap. Forget your foot.
Oh yeah. Now,
just ask Doug whenever he comes over in a chair. Boom. 2 seconds later, there she is, right on top of him.
Oh yeah. So now, let's get back into it, because we talked about a little bit of these issues that the streaming platforms are going to have. But now, during the writer strike, one of the topics I said on our last show that we're going to discuss is, what shows do you recommend that people should binge? Now, these are things that they're going to be able to fill up the time during this drought that we'll be going into when it comes to new content.
See, with me, I mean,
you're old school.
I'm old school. So like you can't mess with a classic. You know, you can never go wrong with a classic.
So what's some of the classics you would recommend that maybe somebody wants to see for the first time, or maybe they've watched it and it's been so long they forgot about it, that might be something they can come back to?
All right, just off the top of my head, if you want to go comedy, can't go wrong with Married with Children.
Okay.
Marriage cannot go wrong with that show. My personal favorite is the Christmas episode with Sam Kinison.
Yep.
My personal favorite. If you want to go action, so many to choose from.
Well, let me jump in while you think of one. Now, I'm going to recommend that anybody who's looking for a show that's run quite a while, shorter episodes, but definitely something that is extremely smartly written, can watch it on Hulu, non-advertised, of course. We're not getting paid for this, but I recommend Letterkenny.
Okay.
Letterkenny is extremely well written. The performances are great, and I think they're in their 11th season with a spin-off show of Shoresy.
Okay.
So it's definitely something that I would say that should fill up a good amount of time for people to watch.
If you want to jump into the realm of action drama, I recommend watching Leverage. It started on TNT. It went to Ion, and now I believe it's on Netflix. I think you can find it there, or Amazon, something like that. But it's about a former insurance agent who lost his son. His son died, so he's on a bender, and he puts together, he was asked, you have to help me. So since he worked, going against all these thieves, he knows how they think, and he knows who the best ones are. So he puts together this team of thieves. And you have Christian Kane, who plays Elliot Spencer. He is the muscle. You have Beth Resgrave. She plays Parker. She is the thief, and she's like batshit crazy. It's great. You have Gina Bellamy, who plays the grifter. She's great with accents and conning people. And you have Aldous Hodge, who plays Alec Hardison, who is the he's a computer guy. There isn't a computer he can't hack into. And his catchphrase throughout the first few seasons was "Age of the Geek, baby." He's he's great. Timothy Hutton is the mastermind. He played Nathan Ford. He was the one who puts everything together.
Sounds a little like an expanded A-Team.
Kind of, but they don't use guns. Elliot is the one who beats everybody up. He's special forces. He doesn't use a gun. He even says in the first or second episode he doesn't like them. He refuses to use them. So he's martial arts, boxing, MMA, like pretty much any type of fighting style this guy knows and is very proficient at. The way most of these episodes go is they start with the end first. And then they take you back and they show you what happens. And just as you think you figured it out, they throw a twist in there. And you're like, okay, it's like watching a magician. He does his trick. You think you figured it out. You realize I'm wrong. And then they go back and they showed you where your mistake was.
Now,
and then that's how they wrap up the show.
Okay, how many seasons is that?
5, I believe.
5?
It was 5 for Leverage, the original one. They did a spin-off with everybody but Timothy Hutton called Leverage Redemption. They brought in Noah Wyle to play the Nathan Ford character. And then they brought in another person. I'm trying to find who she is, because Alec Hodge didn't stay the entire time.
Okay.
Let me just pull it up real quick. Yes. Elisa Shannon plays Brianna Casey, and she is the one who kind of replaces Hardison. And it turns out like she's his, like it's his niece. She's his niece.
Okay.
Well, but still, if you like the original one, this pretty much picks up where it lets off, follows the same game plan.
Okay.
Cannot go wrong with that show. It'll get you hooked like that.
All right. Now, I've got a classic that it's an action comedy that I think people would definitely enjoy seeing. If they haven't seen it already, I highly recommend. It is on Max, so I'm going to say Chuck. Zachary Levi.
Yes.
An amazing show. It definitely, I know Zachary Levi's been pushing to get a movie done to kind of like give everyone a little, not just wrapped up, but like just give everybody a little bit of more of those feels. Because Chuck was one of those shows where it was always kind of on the verge of the chopping block, but it was one of those shows that was saved by the fans, but also saved by Subway being the ones to come in, and episodes had blatant advertisements for Subway sandwiches. So it was one of those things, but to me, it was a great show. The characters are amazing. The character of Chuck and Morgan, those two guys have like one of those epic like TV bromances that these are the two buddies. You're like almost like completely inseparable. And having Yvonne Stravinsky, I believe, she is phenomenal. Like as like Sarah Walker, like top spy for the CIA, or was she NSA? I can never remember because you got one and the other with Casey, which was was it Adam Baldwin, not one of the Baldwin brothers, but Adam Baldwin was phenomenal as Colonel John Casey. It really was one of those shows where it's 5 seasons. There's a lot of great older actors from other franchises that have come into the show, and they really made a full mythology, and it is a phenomenal show.
I'm just looking at the cast list now.
Yeah.
You had, just going through it, you had Superman.
Brandon Routh.
You had the Atom.
Yep, Brandon Routh.
You had Kingpin.
Yep.
Michael Clark Duncan. You had Aquaman.
Yep.
You had the Joker. You had Maggie. You had fucking Sarah Connor.
Yep.
You had Doc Brown. You had Freddy Krueger, which I think is great. You had a T-1000.
Yep.
You had Richie Valens. Amanda Sante, which in my mind a man can do no bad film. You had the freaking Shao Kahn from the second Mortal Kombat film.
Yep.
Yeah.
The casting was amazing for that show, and I highly recommend it during this like content drought, and it's something I really say that like it needs to be revisited.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the realm of, if you want just childish fun, let's throw a couple of cartoons at them. I would say, I mean, since I am a child, I would say any of the DC animated movies, with the exception of, let me amend that, with the exception of Batman and Harley Quinn. That is the only one where I sat there and I said, absolutely not. I didn't. No.
Oh,
I bought it. I watched it. I was like, it had the potential to be so good.
I question your judgment.
I think that one fell flat.
I question your judgment. Melissa Rauch as Harley Quinn.
I'm not talking about the acting. I'm talking about the story.
The story was hilarious. It wasn't going to be a serious,
so much better.
But it wasn't a serious story. It was funny. It was a fun Batman running around and having to deal with Harley's craziness.
It didn't. To me, that's not Batman. You could have done it. It would have worked.
But
if it would have worked if.
See, you're
was Nightwing. It was just Nightwing.
Just realize you're recommending movies for people to go back and watch the animated movies. Mm-hmm. Why not, if you want what could be considered the pinnacle of Batman the animated series?
Oh, without a hands down.
That would have been something that you could have recommended that would be absolutely phenomenal. Every episode really was pretty much a gem. I don't remember there being any episode that was
subpar.
Yeah. It was like they kept upping the bar. Now, I will say that I recommend going into Disney Plus and hitting any of the classic Disney afternoon shows.
Oh, yeah.
Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck,
Tailspin.
Tailspin, and we cannot forget the original DuckTales.
Woohoo!
And every now and then you can throw in a couple episodes of Gummy Bears.
Gummy Bears.
I will say...
and Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Oh, yes, Rescue Rangers, but skip... what was it, Quack Pack?
I don't remember the Quack Pack.
Oh, yeah, it was towards the end run. It was not worth it.
If you want to watch...
And that's something you could watch with your kids, as well as just being an adult watching.
Yeah. If you want to watch something sticking in the realm of superheroes, you get hang on, let me grab it real quick.
Because he chains himself down so much. Thank God he's not shaking it. Nothing there to shake.
Warner Brothers put this out, and it's called Necessary Evil. and it's it is a documentary about all the major DC villains: Deathstroke, Joker, Sinestro, Black Adam, Doomsday, Bane. It goes Catwoman. It
Mike,
goes on.
but once again, you're recommending something that's short. I'm talking, we need to give people content to watch. Like things that are going to last them more than, oh, I watched it for an hour, 2 hours, and then I'm done. Remember, we have a strike going on that these people have already written this stuff and they should get paid for it. So
watch if you want to laugh, watch the monkeys.
Where would they find the monkeys?
You could find the monkeys Tubi.
Yeah.
Tubi TV has the monkeys.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say, because I'm like, I heard about a movie that's on Tubi that I got to check out, Murderbot. I have that on my list. I'm like, Murderbots. I've got to see what this one's all about, but we'll talk about that one when you have actual free time after I've watched it. So now let's just get everyone prepared here, because you won't be here for
I won't be here for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm going to do my best to not let the episodes go down, but at the same time, if I cannot find a co-host, we will do our best to provide you with some form of entertainment. But
we can always record on a Thursday.
We could, just got to see what the schedule holds, because I work ridiculous hours.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So, I don't keep the hours of a sane human being.
Because he's not a sane human being.
With the hours I work, there's no way to be.
Even before that.
Get it, though?
Okay.
To be. Had to.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You really didn't.
Oh, I so did. Now,
anyway,
listen, because there's going to be a drought of content and there's so many things to watch and places to find things, classic shows, I'm going to say they could pretty much turn on like Pluto TV, which is free. You can go back and watch an entire channel devoted nothing to but Family Ties, or a channel devoted to Three's Company. Two classic shows. They'll hit you in the feels, make you laugh, but definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
Now, when you want to talk long running, can't recommend it enough. Smallville.
Yeah.
10 seasons. 10 seasons.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Smallville. I gave it its shot, but I concur. It was a good show. Just it didn't catch me, but not putting the knock on it, it was a good show. Yeah. I just couldn't get into it.
10 seasons. Well, now's a chance to give it a shot again. I believe it can be watched either on HBO Max or even on Hulu. Now, I will say, anybody who's going to sign up for Max has to understand they're going to have to pay at least $16 a month, unless you want commercials.
That's even if you have HBO or Cinemax.
Yeah. Now, I will say there is a show that I highly recommend because a third season is coming out. So there are 2 seasons available on Max. Warrior. Warrior was based off the writings of Bruce Lee. His daughter Shannon Lee went back in. She helped rework it, retool it, and it is a phenomenal show. I believe each season's probably about 10 episodes. Started off on Epix, got bought and did so well during the dark times, the times we do not speak of, the year of darkness. Trying to find the best ways around saying 2020. Yeah, so it was a phenomenal show, and I'm glad it got a 3rd season. So the 3rd season, I believe, is supposed to come out this summer.
Okay.
So martial arts action, it's basically what I feel like Kung Fu should have been if it would have been Bruce Lee rather than David Carradine. But it really follows the adventure, like a guy comes from China looking for his sister, And so he comes to America, and this is around the time after the Intercontinental Railroad has been built. So it's California, and you have conflicts going on between the Asian immigrants, the Irish immigrants that are there, because both of them want to get paid, and they're looking at the Asian immigrants as cheap labor, which is what they used to think of the Irish immigrants as. Now it's like the Irish are becoming a union, kind of trying to get their foot in the door. And so you have the conflict there. You've got the conflict with like the police and the government. It is one of those things where, and the Chinese immigrants, they have their gangs. And the main guy becomes one of the hatchet men for one of the Chinese gangs. And the performances are amazing. One of the guys does, I would say, a phenomenal, like, Bolo Young interpretation. The only thing he doesn't do is with the shirt off with, like, the chest flex that Bolo always did.
The pecs pop.
Oh, yeah. The chest flex.
Pop love.
Oh, yeah.
I was so pissed. I went to ChillerCon last year, and I went there with one specific goal, and that was to meet Mr. Wilson. And we get there, we find out what room he was in.
Yep.
And we were like, all right, great. I didn't see him. He had a sign like be back in 20 minutes or whatever. Some schmuck pulled the fire alarm. Everybody had to evacuate. We had to wait outside for an hour and a half, 2 hours for the fire department to sweep the building, make sure everything was all right. And by the time we got back in, I guess he was gone. And I was like, son of a bitch. The one person I wanted to meet.
I had a similar experience when it came to Chiller Theater, and that was when it was early 2000s. It was one of at the previous hotel that they were holding the convention at, and Rowdy Roddy Piper was there. The line was massive, but they also said he was sick, and there was no way we couldn't even get in. And I was heartbroken, and I thought maybe I'd get to see him the next time. And unfortunately, Rowdy has since passed. So that was, I had my copy of They Live, and I wanted my DVD autographed, and I didn't get it. And it still hurts to this day.
Yeah.
Because I do miss that guy. That guy had such an amazing delivery with his dialogue. And I think that's still like one of the longest fight sequences in any movie.
Yeah, him and David Keith beating the shit out of each other.
Keith David,
whatever. Beating the shit out of each other. Yeah, totally. Even when he got the glasses and he was in the bank.
Oh yeah.
Or was it the no. It is the bank of the deli.
Oh, he shows up in the bank, and it's like that's where the real fun started.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking, everybody knows the bank, Kick-Ass, chew bubblegum, all out of bubblegum. But I think he was in a deli or something, and he sees like a normal human next to one of the aliens. And he looks at him, he goes, you? He goes, you're all right. He looks at the alien, he goes, you? He goes, formaldehyde face. And you can tell that was him just shooting.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it was scripted that way.
Oh, they said.
I just think he was shooting.
Oh, I believe there were interviews with Rowdy that he said he went to John Carpenter and had a book of all these things he had wanted to say, like during wrestling events, like all for a bunch of promos. All these insults, they wrote a lot of that into the script because Rowdy came up with a lot of that. Yeah. So, I mean, that is just a phenomenal movie. That's one I definitely recommend. If anybody wants to watch that one, that's a definite recommend. They Live.
Yes.
So, let's do, I'll say you do 2 more recommended series. I'll do 2 more, and then we'll move on to what I consider to be our final major topic.
Okay. All right. My last 2, I want to do one supposed to be goofy and one that is just pure early 90s cheese factory good.
Okay.
Going back in time, you want pure goofiness, pure just watching a live cartoon, watch F Troop. It stands the test of time. It's funny as hell. Okay, watching the actors in there, because the main actor, Ken Berry, he was a trained dancer, and seeing some of the things he does on camera, you're like, okay, this man has talent. And it also, because taking place when it did, there was so much restrictions on the writers. Okay, you couldn't even say hell. You couldn't even say hell. The writers had such a strict set of rules they had to follow, and the show was still funny. So
Now,
check out F Troop.
Okay, well, just to take a quick moment in between your recommendations, this is where we can see the generational divide. We're both Gen X, but you can see the difference in our sensibilities where I continue to keep evolving and moving forward. You kind of got stuck in that like pocket of I'm not moving. This is what I like. I'm not going to go any further.
Yeah, okay.
Come on. Let's just be clear here. It's like I will give things a chance. I will try. I will expand my entertainment palette, if you will. Where you are the guy that's, nope, I want the burger. No matter where you go, you're getting the burger because that's what you like.
No, I'd give shows a chance, but
your delicate sensibilities don't mesh with the modern things nowadays?
Not at all. I mean, I don't give a shit. If a show is funny, it's funny. If I like it, I like it. But just the stuff out now, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And again, you're gonna give me shit for this one.
Oh, of course I am.
You want just goofiness? Turn it on and just mind-numbing. Watch Renegade. Lorenzo Lamas.
Where would someone find Renegade though? Seriously, like
probably Tubi.
Okay.
Tubi.
I'm pretty sure they could find F Troop on Pluto TV.
Yeah, Pluto has it. I know it's on Access TV.
Okay.
Renegade is actually on Heroes and Icons.
Okay. Now, Now, I'm going to recommend one that's very off the beaten path. It's
like mine weren't.
No. You to an American audience, this is really off the beaten path because it's not a U.S. show really, but it is available on Pluto TV. I know you can watch it on demand on there, which I'm going to recommend The Tribe. Now, The Tribe is a series about a virus that basically wipes out all the adults in the world, and it's kids basically forming like their own groups, tribes basically. So
it's basically an updated version of Lord of the Flies.
Kind of, but in more of a respect where they follow one group, but they're trying to rebuild their civilization. And it's at least 5 seasons. There's a sequel series, Tribe New World. I haven't watched that one, but it is also based off of books. So it was produced from Cloud9 down in, I believe, New Zealand. It is a phenomenal show. I saw it on a channel years ago that channel has since disappeared, but I did end up, and this will make you laugh hysterically. The show has like teen drinking, teenage pregnancy. It deals with like being like SA and a whole bunch of other things. And I have to say, it was on the Christian channel. I'm flipping through the channels and found it on the Christian channel once. Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
You're choking.
Just the fact that you would watch anything on a Christian channel.
Yep. Go ahead.
That's mind-boggling.
Exactly. Well, that was the thing that was even funnier was right before they showed an episode of the show. they showed Bible Man with Willie Ames. They had kind of a biblical lightsaber. It was the most ridiculous fucking thing I had ever seen. I worked at, and I'm gonna say it. I worked for Saturday Matinee back in the early 2000s. We had that on our shelves, and I couldn't stop laughing every time I saw the box art for that. So, but yeah, the tribe is definitely worth it. It has so many layers of like where they go with the show, and each season, like the stakes progress. The actors were all young actors. They are phenomenal. I've seen some of them move on to other projects that have kind of been embraced by the US. Some of the actors actually moved on to different series of the Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, and it's definitely a show that I recommend. It's really off the beaten path, but for 5 seasons, and they're half-hour episodes, but they're pretty long seasons. So it's definitely something that will eat up some time while we're going through the strike. And one other show that I will recommend, not as like off the beaten path, but I do have to say it's, you know what? It's near and dear to my heart, and I really think people should go back and watch it, give it a watch if they haven't seen it. The remake of Battlestar Galactica from the early 2000s.
See, I was into Battlestar, great show, but when they kind of got biblical with it, I was like, that's where I kind of lost interest in it.
The thing is, like, I'm a fan of, like, I watched for the mythology and everything from like Hercules, Xena, back in the day, and Battlestar. The biblical elements didn't bother me because it was more prophetical. It was like it gave them more of a lore.
Right.
But it's the standout performances. The stories are great. It is almost like a reflection of things that were happening at the time that are still going on nowadays. But the performances from actors like Katie Sackhoff, from Trisha Heffler, you know, those 2 names just stand right out in my mind for some of these amazing performances. Edward James Olmos.
Well, anything he does is
phenomenal. You know, it was one of those shows where I pretty much told my friends, you didn't bother me so much, but Jimmy and a few other people, they would call me on, I believe it was like a Tuesday night when it would air. And my response was, if you call me during this show,
I will kill you.
Oh no, somebody better be dead or dying. Otherwise,
or I will kill you.
Yeah, no, when the episode's over, I'm showing up at your doorstep, and we'll see if you have the opportunity to call me next week. You know, I'm pretty much a horse that's ready for the glue factory at this point, but back then, it wasn't a threat. It was a promise. It was a promise. You didn't bother me, otherwise that you would have got that exact same one.
Yeah, but I didn't really like you back then.
You don't like me now.
That is true. But I need you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You don't have to like me.
We tolerate each other.
That is actually true. You know, a friendship of 20 years.
Toleration of 20 years.
Yeah. And now we can technically say 4 decades, considering we've been trapped in time.
Yeah.
Now, let's get on to our final topic. Because we're going to try to keep today like somewhat short and everything. But what I want, we need to go with what we had discussed last time, which was, what is your pick for all-time best montage from a franchise, TV series, movie, whatever it is, like best franchise, best montage. Because let's face it, everybody needs a good montage when it comes to getting through things quickly, and there have been some outstanding ones over the decades.
There have been some outstanding ones over the decades. I thought about this pretty much all week, and I just kept coming back to the first 4 Rocky films.
Oh, yeah.
Those train, though. I mean, call me cliche, call me whatever you want.
Classic. No, those are straight classic.
Those, I keep trying to think what montage would top that, and I couldn't think of a montage that could. I mean,
The Rocky franchise has some
the first 4 Rocky films.
Yeah, but they've had some, even some of the ones in Creed.
Yeah.
I consider that part of the franchise because they've expanded out. And I will give you that. That is a phenomenal choice. Now, the question is, does it make you actually want to exercise? Does it make you want to work out?
At that moment, while I'm watching him, if you're watching the first one, you see him beating the shit out of the meat. No homo. Have throw that in there.
No, that is big homo. If you have to say it, it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's just take Rocky 4. Okay,
Yep.
When he's in Russia and he's training, I'm like, fuck, I want to go run out in the snow. I want to go chop a tree down. I want to stand on the top of a mountain yelling, Drago! I wanted to do that. But then I thought about it and I was like, I have to get up. I got to put my shoes on. I got to get a jacket on. I got to find an axe. I don't want to do all that shit.
So your laziness basically trumps the motivation no matter how good the montage is.
Yeah, because I'm just lazy.
Okay.
I mean, at that moment, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Yeah! If I could watch the montage while I'm out there chopping a tree down, I would be jacked. But I can't. So
Okay.
I'm not.
See, now, when I came up with this idea of a question, I have to say there was one thing that it constantly came back. The Rocky ones are up there. They are top tier. But I have to go with the most amount of montages, and I have to go with the A-Team franchise.
Wow.
Because every episode was a montage.
Every episode had a montage.
But it's like they were always upgrading the van. That van...
Actually, no, they never upgraded the van.
They never upgraded the van? It almost, you would almost think they upgraded the van. But
you would think they would upgrade the van. Because, when in the first season, he didn't have the van. He drove around in a convertible Impala. And then they gave him some other kind of car. And then somewhere around...
it was Mr. T's baby. The van was his.
Somewhere around, I think after the show got picked up, I think that's when they decided, like, let's give them a van when they actually got sponsors, because they kept the GMC in the front for a while. They never really did anything with the van. I mean, it pretty much stayed the same, which is fine by me.
Yeah, but every episode, there was a montage of them getting all their stuff together.
Yep.
The creativity of what they did in every single montage, every episode.
Here's my question about that show.
Okay.
If these guys, if the A-Team was in fact that good, okay?
Yeah.
They were they were the A-Team.
Yep.
How could their aim be so bad in every fucking episode? I mean, not even them. Everybody, whoever had a gun in that universe, couldn't hit shit. Were they
I think
stormtroopers?
I was about to say that. I think they went to the Stormtrooper Academy of their gun range, but at the same time, you got to remember too the censorship of everything when it came to violence. They couldn't show them dying really. I mean, let's face it, the 80s was that moment where you knew in time that they couldn't kill anybody. Everybody was too upset. Optimus Prime dying in the Transformers movie was like the true catalyst of you can't kill off characters, but yet Duke can take a Cobra spear in the chest, and we knew he was dead, but no, Duke's in a coma, and then by the end, Duke came out of his coma. He's gonna live. Oh,
that was a direct result of Optimus Prime dying.
Yep.
The amount of hate mail that the writers got for killing Optimus Prime, and they didn't think anything of it. They're like, okay, we're phasing out this toy line and we're bringing in a new toy line.
Nope, can't do it.
And they were like, no. And then I on one of the I have this complete series of Transformers, and I'm watching one of the extras on it, and they were talking about, or maybe it was like a 25th anniversary of the movie. They were talking to the writer, and they were like, we really didn't think anything of it when we decided to kill Optimus Prime. And like, we just figured, oh, okay, it was a toy.
It's a robot.
It's a robot. We're phasing out this toy line, and we're bringing in the next one. And guy was like, now I know how the writer of The Sopranos felt. He goes, I wanted to go and hide. He goes, especially when we had already in the pipeline planning on bringing Optimus Prime back as a robotic zombie. He was like, I didn't want to be in the country for that. He goes, I wanted to leave.
Well, I mean, thankfully they did bring him back, but yeah, the aim back then was terrible for everyone.
Yeah.
So now it all works out in the end, but I give it to them. I give the montage for A-Team. Now it was close because the Rocky franchise, their montages are really top tier, and if I watch them, I do want to work out.
Yeah,
and I will work out as opposed to you, who it's like, no, I don't want to put my shoes on. Do I really got to put clothes on? It's like,
no, I always have clothes on.
You're a never nude? You do know where Never Nude's from, right?
No.
Arrested Development.
Oh, yes.
The guy, he would take a shower and he's still wearing like the jean Daisy Duke cutoff shorts.
Yeah.
It's like he's...
what was the name of that show? I don't think it was Arrested Development. It had the REM song Stand in the place where you live.
The Chris Elliott show?
Yes, the Chris Elliott show. I remember he was like, somebody asked him and he was like, why are you like this? And he was like, well, he goes, when I was 12, I thought there was an eye looking at me from behind my shower. He goes, and that's why I take showers with a bathing suit on. And people are like, what? And I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
Yeah, there are certain things from childhood that are definitely going to stick out. Now, since you're not going to be here, let's promote your show.
Okay. So, people, for next week, the 2nd, and
make sure, let's be clear here. June 2nd.
June 2nd through June 11th. We're doing Friday, Saturday, Sundays. I will be performing at the Little Victory Theater on Staten Island down in Travis. I will be in a production of The Divine Sister. It is very funny. You will probably have to go to confession after watching this show, because how we will be able to make it out without getting hit by lightning is anybody's guess. But it's about a convent in Pittsburgh that the nuns who were there, this takes place in the 60s, who the nuns that are there, they're like, look, the building is falling apart. They're trying to talk to the archdiocese or whomever to get them a new building built. And the mother office in Berlin sends a nun to help, with things, but she has an ulterior motive because she was sent by the Christian hitman group, and because in the sub basement of the convent is the tomb of Joyce Christ, which is the sister of Jesus, and it is
unlike his brother Craig Christ.
Yes, unlike Craig. No, we're talking about the sister. Joyce was the one who gave the Sermon on the Mount. Joyce was the one who healed the lepers. Jesus was a follower of hers, but everybody's like, we're not going to believe a woman did this, so they just gave it all to Jesus. So, yeah. You can check me out in the show. You can get tickets at showtix4u.com. And in the search bar, if you type in Little Victory Theater, it'll take you right to it. Tickets are available. You can order them online, and you can pay. You can order them online, hold them and you pay for it at the door. You can pay for it online, however you want to do it.
Mike's going to send me a link, and I will put that in the show notes. But he's also going to have that posted on the Dragoons Lair podcast Facebook and Instagram pages. Am I right on that one, Mike?
Yes, you are.
There we go. We're going to make sure we promote this. We want you guys to come out, see Mike at the Little Victory Theater. If you're in the...
Just don't throw anything at me.
Throw things. If his performance is that bad, just... You know what? If you're going to throw anything, just throw toilet paper. Mike could use the extra. Because what is the saying for Hamster Pellet Productions?
Art movies are the shit.
There you go. So feel free to...
I had to think about it for a second.
You haven't said it in so long.
I haven't. I see it every day when I turn on my computer. That's my screensaver. I see it every day. I just haven't said it in a while.
Yeah. So with that being said, Mike, you've got your show coming up.
Also, I want to plug one more thing.
Go ahead.
On Saturday, June 17th, come on down, because I will make my in-ring debut as the general manager of New Evolution Wrestling.
Okay, so let me just make sure this is clear. Mike, you want everyone to come on down to see you as the general manager of
Yes.
what promotion?
New Evolution Wrestling.
New Evolution Wrestling's general manager, Mike Schiavo. Come check him out.
I'm trying to pull up the poster so I can see what I have on.
I'm trying to give you a little bit more theme, some flair, some gravitas.
Actually, I actually have, I can walk out to theme music.
Okay, but
So if anybody wants to throw me out, I have an idea. I want to walk out to probably...
I'll throw you out, but
I want to walk out to probably March of the Damned by Judas Priest. But if anybody got anything else, let me have it. But yeah, I'll put up stuff for the wrestling show on the Facebook and Instagram page. I also want to give a shout out to Michelle McGurry. She started following us.
Thank you.
On Instagram. I'm sorry if I butcher your last name, but on Instagram she's mmini6919.
Thank you,
Michelle McGurry.
Thank you for the follow.
Following us. We are following you back. So thank you. And that's it. You can talk now.
Well, I was just waiting for you to make sure. I didn't know if we had any other followers. So it's great to have new listeners. Great to have new followers. And I want to thank everyone who's tuned in. I want to thank everybody who is sharing the word about everyone's favorite podcast, the Dragoons Lair podcast. You can make sure you can find all of the links for Mike's upcoming show and his wrestling debut on our Instagram and Facebook page, Dragoons Lair Podcast. Please join, sign up. If you give us a follow, Mike will definitely make sure he reads who's following us at the end of the next show that he's on. All because...
Actually, I have some more right now.
Oh, you've got more.
Shout out.
Ooh, let's get some more shout outs.
Okay. I want to give a shout out. 7 days ago, the real Diamond Harding. I worked with this gentleman on the G.I. Joe film. He played Flint. Very cool guy. He started following us. So Diamond.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you, Diamond. Caitlin Ferguson. I worked with her when I was stage managing Clever Little Lies at the Little Victory Theater. She started following us about a week ago. So Caitlin, thank you very much. Diana Michio. I worked with her at IS49 for a while. She started following us. So
thank you for the follow. Thank you.
Mike Wiesman. I did a couple of shows with him. I did a film with him about a year and a half ago. So Mike, thank you for following us. Frank Santant. I play ball with Frank. I cannot pronounce his last name for shit because it's a very long Italian last name. And it's Frank. We call him Frank.
Well,
So
thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank, for following us. I want to give a shout out to my cousin Peter Brescia for following us.
Thank you.
Also, a Hazel Shah 22 started following us on Instagram.
Oh,
So
thank
you, Hazel.
Thank-
She is a friend of Doug's.
Well, thank you, Hazel.
Thank you, Hazel.
And thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug, for spreading the Dragoon word.
Thank you for
anybody
adding
else?
to the Dragoon army. Our Dragoonies are strong.
Okay. Also, Michael J. Reagan started following us.
You did that one last time.
Okay, then I'm all caught up.
Yep, all caught up. All right. So our Instagram and Facebook, the Dragoons Lair podcast on Instagram and Facebook, will have all the information for Mike's.
Oh, wait, I just got a new one just now.
We got a new one as we speak.
As we speak. What about that? Evelyn Arancio. She is actually the mother of a student that I had, so thank you for following us.
Thank you again. So now let me get back to the the promotion for your things, as well as the promotion for the show itself. So everyone who signs up for the Dragoons Lair podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and also if you follow us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and my YouTube channel, Blue Dragoon 13, if you follow us, we'll give you a shout out during the show. So we appreciate all of you on that one. Mike is going to make sure that the links for his wrestling debut, as well as his performance at the Little Victory Theater, will be on the Dragoons Lair podcast Facebook and Instagram page. So make sure you check that out if you're in the New York, New Jersey area. Now, Mike, your socials?
All right. You can follow me on Facebook at Hamster Pellet Productions. You can catch me on the Instagram at, oddly enough, Hamster Pellet Productions. Go figure, you know? Yeah. I have the TikTok, but I don't use the TikTok because I'm not a TikToker.
I know I send him things on there and he doesn't respond.
I don't respond. I have like 400 of them like in 4 days. But anyway, yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram and you can get me on the Facing Book. And I always respond to carrier pigeon messages, smoke signals, the occasional snail mail.
Morse code?
Morris's code.
Yeah.
Instead of Morse.
Morse code? The Morrissey
It's
code?
Morse. M-O-R-S-E, not Morris, not Morris.
Morrissey?
Shut up. Sometimes I'm a little rusty on my Morse code, but if you tap it out, I will hopefully tap something back that's not rude and offensive. But depending on who sent it to me, it might be rude and offensive on purpose. You never know.
Yep. Is that all? Where can people find your films for Hamster Pellet Productions?
You can do you can go on the YouTube and type in Hamster Pellet Productions, and I'm there.
All right, and
I'm going to be getting. I'm going to be working on putting up a website, and once I get that going, I'll be promoting the shit out of that. But yeah. Oh, also one more shameless plug. The 21st of June, which is a Saturday. The film that I directed, The Fourth Wall, will be playing at the Staten Island Summer Shorts Film Festival down in Port Richmond. Check them out on Facebook. Get your tickets. Come down. Remember, The Fourth Wall. You want to vote for that. If they do crowd voting, you want to vote for that one because it's
me. You good? Is that all of them?
I think so.
Are you sure? Not one more?
No, yeah, you can go.
Okay, so.
Wait, I got one. You knew I was going to do that.
I knew you were going to. That's why. By the way, just to be clear here, yeah, for you, Mike, and all of our lovely viewers on the YouTube channel, Blue Dragoon 13, can see exactly what I'm doing. So after you've listened to the episodes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes, you can check out video episodes and see the stupid crap we're doing that you can't see on our YouTube channel, because on the Blue Dragoon 13 YouTube channel, I have the videos posted and this is uncut, unedited, so you cannot miss out. And the last episode will be up by, like every week we've got new episodes popping up. Probably going to end up taking a dip because Mike won't be here for some of them. But yeah, so we've got episodes going up into June. And yeah, you can see what kind of crazy outfits Mike wears during some of the episodes along.
Oh yeah.
And you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, and
Pornhub.
Am I? I don't remember anymore. Well, but no, you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
You were gonna say, weren't you?
I was about to. You know what? I'll make one if you guys go and you can get us up to at least 500 subscribers on on all of my social media. 500 in total. Just for this, I will make a Pornhub page. No, I'll make I won't make that promise. But no, so you can contact me on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. Along with from Twitch, you can find the Discord page, and that's all Blue Dragoon 13. So make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe, spread the word about everyone's favorite podcast, the Dragoons Lair Podcast. You can email us at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word, Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. I'd like to thank our guest, Danielle Hernandez, and I want to thank Mike for being here on such kind of short notice. So thank you. And next time when we come back, we'll see if Mike records next week or if he's an absentee parent. Because, let's face it, we were kids of the 80s. Our parents weren't around most of the time anyway. But thankfully, there's no evidence of the things that we did back then. So, with that being said, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and make sure you spread the love and be part of the Dragoonie Army. Because let's face it, if you're one of the Dragoonies, you're one of the coolest kids out there. So, make sure you tune in and stay connected so this way you can know what we're up to. And I'm going to be taking a poll, or at least there should be a question on the Spotify for Podcaster / Anchor page. I want you guys to tell us what you want us to talk about on the show. If there's anything that you want us to change about the format, we are looking to do more interviews as well as cover certain topics. And Mike and I are going to discuss more of that later. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you all next time. Mike?
Bye.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out. Later.